Right, in question number 5, it says to use the table to answer the question, and it asks us what is the average rate of change of x over the interval 7 is less than or equal to x is less than or equal to 15. So it's asking for the average rate of change. This is something that we've been working on in our units with quadratics and exponentials. We also find the rate of change with linear functions. That would just be the slope. So right over here, my helpful hint, average rate of change is y2 minus y1, the change in y's, over the change in x's. Okay, so looking here, it asks me for a specific interval. This just means I want to know what's the change between 7 and 15. So I'm going to go look at my table. I'm going to find where x, or in this case t, is equal to 7. I didn't realize I didn't really change this. This would really be my like x's, and this would really be like my y's. And then I also need the point where x, or in this case t, would be 15. Okay, so I have 2 points there. The first point where my x was 7, my y was 66, and then my second point, x is 15, and my y would be 258. So I could label these points if you're someone who likes to label like me, just so I don't mess up when I'm plugging anything in. And now that I have all of that done, I can go ahead and plug in my pieces. So my y2, that's that first spot here, that is the 258. My y1, that is my 66. So 258 minus 66. And then in the denominator, I do the same thing with my x's. So x2 minus x1, so 15 minus 7. Once I simplify that, the numerator, that turns into 192, and my denominator turns into 8. And we just divide. So my average rate of change between 7 and 15, or over that interval there, is just 24. And one other little tidbit, if you're someone who likes to do things like in one step in the calculator, just make sure that you're plugging this in using parentheses. You have to put that numerator entirely in parentheses divided by your denominator in parentheses. Otherwise, order of operations won't do the problem the way that you need it to for this case. So make sure you're using those parentheses if you are putting that in your calculator in one step.